For more now is David Zervos. He's the chief market strategist at Jefferies and a CNBC contributor. David, I wonder, knowing the president and how he operates the way you do, I wonder if you think that the president is getting some leverage here by nominating Myron just for that temporary position until January. Does the president then have leverage over him, even though Myron is a Trump guy? He's going to, if he wants the job permanently, he's going to have to watch how he votes, won't he?
I mean, I think everyone here in the contest, if you will, is under the spotlight. And I think the administration is going to look at how people perform, what they say, how they're reacting to the economy, the data, and how, in this case with Stephen, how they're voting. So, sure, I think it's all part of a process that's going to kick off in earnest in the fall and probably end sometime around the Kugler seats decision in January. Yeah, so we've got a wall graphic here that we can show with all the candidates on it. You've got the two Kevins, you've got Chris Waller, and then you've got, if you look at that right, I don't know if you can see it, David, that right-hand shadow person is, we're using that to illustrate the idea of a mystery candidate here. It looks a little bit like Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos to me. I don't think that's what we're suggesting here. But the question is, who do you think has the lead here? I mean, Warsh, very respected among Fed watchers. Hassett, very close to Trump, sort of puts a smiley face on the Trump economic policy, sells them on TV very well, the president thinks. I mean, if you're looking at this and you're a betting man, who do you think has the lead? So I'll go with how you opened it, Eamon. I think all of these candidates have, are going to be welcomed by the market and to some extent welcomed by the Federal Reserve System. Kevin Hassett's a very well-known character in Washington, D.C., very talented economist, great on TV. Kevin Warsh, same thing, and obviously was in the building for a very long time. Made some friends, made I wouldn't say enemies, but probably made a few foes along the way as he left. He left under a little bit of a sort of thumping of the desk that he wasn't a big fan of QE. But I think there's a lot of respect for the views of all of these characters, and Chris as well has really stood out and I think had differentiated views during the rate rising and now during the rate cutting. So I think he hasn't been afraid to sort of stand his ground and have a strong opinion that was different than the group think. And I do think all of them bring something very important to the table, which is a kind of break in groupthink, which is what I think Stephen has also said is a problem at the Fed, and I would agree with him, is a problem at the Fed. I think diversity of opinion is important, and you really have four folks, if you include Stephen in that are going to bring, I think, a fresh look at policy to the table, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Myron has done a lot of work looking at the dollar, David, and looking at trade and tariffs and helping craft policy around that. So when we talk about groupthink, is there too much groupthink around the topic of tariffs?
I think there was. I think the street got so freaked out April 3rd and 4th, and they couldn't get themselves, and then into the second week of April, they couldn't get themselves around the idea that this was a tactic. It was a traditional Trump tactic to go big, go to destabilize your opponents in the debate, and then try to get them to the table and create an outcome that was more beneficial for yourself. And I think that's exactly what the president did. I think it was very much art of the deal. And those that believed that it was art of the deal, not like a final, so we're going to end up at these very large tariff numbers, but this was just a negotiating tactic, I think those people did pretty well in the April-May period. The ones that, got a little too lost in the exact numbers and didn't think about tactics are still licking their wounds and probably will be for the rest of the year. So I think Stephen brings a lot of new thinking to the table, and it'll be fun to watch his confirmation hearing. It'll be fun to watch how he votes and how he dissents, if he dissents, or how he decides to side with Mickey and Chris. And I think it's going to be an exciting time to watch the Fed, and I think it's a very important time for the Fed because the board is about to shift into a world where you're going to have very likely 4 Trump appointees by May of next year. So the dominant force on the board is going to be a Trump force, and that's a very different board from where we've been at any time in the past.